Welcome to Movie Recaps. Today I will show you a crime, drama, action film from 2013 titled Redemption. Spoilers ahead. Watch out and take care. On a cold night in February in the back streets of London, two thugs are terrorizing homeless people who are trying to get some rest. Inside one of the cardboard boxes, Isabel warns Joey not to fight back as she hides their dope in her mouth. They try to make a getaway but the thugs stop them and take the dope. When one of them begins to unzip Isabel's jacket, Joey headbutts the thug restraining him and they try to make a run for it. Isabel gets away but Joey takes a proper beating before he manages to escape. He climbs up onto the roof of a building, pries open a window, jumps in, and takes a look around. He's landed in an upmarket apartment and the owners aren't home, so he spends the night. Meanwhile, one of the thugs finds Isabel and pulls a knife on her. In the morning, Joey takes a shower, shaves his hair, and looks half decent as he's leaving the apartment. On his way out, the phone rings and goes to voicemail where he learns that the owner, Damon, is in New York and won't be back at the apartment until October 1st. Joey makes himself at home and goes through the mail. He finds a newly issued debit card with a pin enclosed, so he heads to an ATM, withdraws cash, and gets wasted. Joey's walking through London at night and having flashbacks of his time in Afghanistan. He stumbles into a homeless shelter where Sister Christina is serving soup and says he's looking for someone named Isabel. Christina recognizes Joey and asks him where he got the clothes. He doesn't respond but he gives her £500 and tells her to buy something nice for herself. The next day, Christina discusses the gift with the Mother Superior of the convent, who tells her to allocate the money to one of their funds. Christina asks if she can keep a portion to buy something that she has been praying for. The head nun agrees, so she goes to the theater to buy a ticket for the ballet. The ticket salesman tells her that all the tickets are sold out, except for one, a box ticket for the farewell show on the 1st of October for £500. Joey wakes up from a bad dream and realizes that he is hallucinating when he sees hummingbirds flying around the apartment and a man being hung from the ceiling. He goes to the soup kitchen and asks Christina for antibiotics, but she tells him to go to the emergency room. He explains that he can't as he's been evading the court-martial since he left the special forces because there will be no forgiveness for him. Christina takes mercy and asks him what he needs. He says that he has 2 broken ribs and an infection that will kill him if it spreads to the bone. She gets him antibiotics and painkillers and tells him that she's asked around about Isabel. He asks how she knows about Isabel and if he did something stupid last night. Christina realizes that he can't remember but doesn't mention the £500 and tells him that Isabel doesn't come for food anymore. Back at the apartment, Joey pours his booze down the drain and takes his antibiotics religiously. He finds the keys to Damon's black Mercedes and drives around the city, putting up posters with Damon's number for Isabel to call him on. He gets a voicemail from Isabel telling him not to look for her and not to worry. She says she's agreed to work for the thugs for a few weeks until she has enough money for a deposit on a place up north. A man sporting an expensive suit and a scar above his eye meets up with the thug that pulled a knife on Isabel. They walk into a parcel delivery store late at night and the man scopes out 3 blondes. One of them is Isabel. It turns out that she's working as a call girl at an underground brothel run by the thug. It's a sunny afternoon in March when Joey arrives back at the apartment with groceries. He's making himself a health drink when someone buzzes at the door. When he doesn't answer, a woman's voice exclaims that she saw someone go in and that she'll call the police. Joey opens the door and she asks him who he is, so he tells her that he's one of Damon's boyfriends. He says Damon told him to stay there for the summer and get his life back together. Joey is working in a Chinese kitchen and cuts up Damon's debit card. He's exercising on the rooftop and doubles as a kind of unpaid bouncer when there's trouble at the Chinese restaurant. One night, the head waiter summons him to get rid of a group of guys who are getting rowdy. When he escorts the guys outside, they become agitated and one of them tries to punch him. The restaurant owner watches as Joey takes care of the guys without breaking a sweat and asks the head waiter who he is. Joey is hired by Mr. Choi as a driver who also does his dirty work for him. He's earning stacks of cash helping Mr. Choi establish new rules in the neighborhood, delivering dope, and collecting payments for him. One night, a delivery guy rocks up at the soup kitchen to deliver a bunch of pizzas for the homeless. Christina realizes that it's not a mistake when he says that the order was paid for by Joey Jones. From then on, Joey regularly orders takeaways for the homeless. In July, Joey follows Dawn into a grocery store and gets her attention. She's angry because he's wearing an expensive suit while she and his daughter are living on £25 a week. She says she lost her job and asks what he's been doing, so he tells her that he's been fighting. She begins throwing things at him but he stops her and gives her a wad of money and tells her that there's a lot more where that came from. Christina finds piles of boxes and a dress outside the convent, with a note inviting her out. She goes to meet Joey, who is barbecuing on the street behind the Chinese restaurant. She tells him that this is a very strange thing to be doing and asks him if he has psychological problems, which he doesn't deny. She says that she has news and shows him a photo of a girl that was found in the river. She says that the police came to her because they were looking for someone to help them identify the girl. He doesn't want to look at the photo, but he does, and recognizes Isabel immediately. Joey burns the picture and sits down to eat his steak. He asks her if it was one of those rich guys that killed Isabel, and Christina confirms that the police think she was killed by a client. Joey throws over a table in a fit of rage, which upsets Christina. She tells him that he's a hypocrite for complaining about Isabel when the autopsy revealed dope in Isabel's system and he's the one who is dealing it. Once he's calmer, Christina confides in him that he gave her money and she spent it. She says that she sold some of her stuff and gives him the money back. The thugs are causing trouble with the homeless people in an alley, but Joey is waiting for them and asks them if they remember him. One of them pulls out a knife, so Joey whips out a spoon and the bigger thug looks worried. He roughs them up while interrogating them about who killed Isabel. The smaller thug gives him a description, a 30-something city boy with a scar above his eye. Christina meets Joey at a photo gallery, wearing the dress he bought for her. He is stunned when he sees her, and she notices, so she tells him that she wore the dress because it's the only one she has. Christine is nervous as she sips on champagne and tells Joey that she hasn't eaten and she might faint. She says she's there for the information about Isabel's case and he gives her the description of the guy that killed her. An agent at the private showing asks them who they are, so they leave the gallery and run down the street. Christine is a bit tipsy and flirting with Joey. She asks him when Damon is coming back and he replies October 1st, the same day as the ballet concert. She says that it's fate and they share a kiss before she leaves. The next morning, Damon is leaving for work when Damon's neighbor stops him in the parking lot and asks how things are going. She tells him that he seems like a different person and asks him if he's exclusively gay. He says that lately he's attracted to nuns, which leaves her confused and amused. The police rock up at the soup kitchen and ask Christina if she knows where they can find Joey Jones. He's making a name for himself on the streets doing Choi's dirty work, and they know that he has connections to the homeless mission. Later, when she sees Joey, she tells him that she had to lie to the police and that he hasn't changed at all. He asks her what the police said when she gave them the description of Isabel's killer. She says that they laughed it off because they're more interested in finding out more about him than investigating the murder. On the drive back to the convent, Christina asks Joey what happened when she got drunk. He's surprised that she doesn't remember and tells her that she asked him to kiss her, so he did because he wanted to anyway. She asks him why he wanted to. He replies that it's a stupid question and tells her to look in the mirror. Christina lets down her guard and tells Joey that she killed her gymnastics instructor when she was a child because he raped her 17 times starting when she was 10. They sent her to the convent instead of prison because she was so young. She tells him she's never told anyone else that story. Joey reciprocates and confides in her that when he left the military he just took off his uniform and ran. At the convent, the Mother Superior inquires about why Christina applied for the mission in Sierra Leone. Christina says that Africa has always been part of her life plan and asked permission to move it forward because there are too many distractions in London. She tells the Mother Superior that she's ready to leave any time after the 1st of October. At his request, Joey's boss takes him to see Madame Choi. Joey asks her about violent men who pay for girls and she tells him that she doesn't deal with them. They're on her violent blacklist. He gives her the description of Isabel's killer and she confirms that she knows who he is. She says that she will reveal the identity of the man in return for a favor. The man with the scar above his eye is roughing up a young woman who clearly wasn't expecting it. Another young woman who is in the house hears the commotion and approaches the room where she sees the man's coat hanging outside in the hallway. She checks his pockets and finds an invitation to a rooftop cocktail party addressed to Max. Joey fetches a truck loaded with stowaway migrant workers for Madame Choi and delivers the truck to a warehouse. The guy at the warehouse pays him and Joey asks the guy for the information he asked for while counting the money. The guy says that it's coming. Joey looks down at Max's invitation to the rooftop cocktail party. It's the 1st of October and Christina goes to the park because Joey has asked her to meet him there to take pictures of him for his daughter. He says he wants her to have photographs of him looking like a normal man, a good man, so that she has something to remember him by when she gets older. Christina asks if he won't see her. He says that he doesn't think he'll look like this for much longer. Christina is concerned and asks why he won't look like this. He doesn't answer. They go for coffee and she asks Joey to send her a few of the pictures so she can take them with her to Africa. She says she's leaving tomorrow and that she wants to end her crazy patch in London with him. Joey smiles at her. They end up at Damon's apartment and get intimate. After they're done, Damon gets home and tries to open the door but he can't get in because the door is locked from the inside. They run out the back, down the fire escape and onto the street where he tells her that there's enough money in his bag for them to start over somewhere. Christina stops him and says that if he wants to be a good man, he must be a good man. She kisses him passionately and asks him to join her at the ballet tonight at 7. Joey is torn as he watches her walk away. Joey goes to Dawn's house and his daughter answers the door but she doesn't know who he is. He puts the bag of money down and tells her it's for her mother and hands her the envelope of photos and tells her it's for her. Christina is waiting for Joey outside the ballet but he doesn't show. He goes to the rooftop cocktail party instead, where he finds Max and starts up a conversation. Max becomes concerned and asks Joey who he is but Joey doesn't answer him and throws him off the rooftop in plain sight of the other guests. As Christina is leaving the ballet, she sees Joey passed out on the side of the road with a booze bottle in his hand. He wakes up and tells her that he hurts people when he's sober and healthy. He starts crying and she comforts him. The next morning, Christina opens a letter from Joey on her way to the airport. In the letter, he tells her that he sent Damon the money he stole plus extra for rent. He says that he left the boys at the homeless mission some pizza money and sent the details of the human smugglers to the police. He tells her that he was alive for one summer and he's glad that he spent it with her. The police confirm visuals on Joey as he walks down a street swigging a bottle. They warn to approach him with extreme caution. The end. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you'd like to see more videos like this.